Good evening, it's June 30th, and welcome to Cape Media News, your source for hyperlocal news that matters. I'm Lauren Williamson. Barnstable police are searching for Tavon Merritt. Merritt is a 25-year-old male, 5'11", and 220 pounds. Merritt was last seen on May 26th in the area of Cape Cod Hospital and was seen wearing a black t-shirt, jeans, and black and red shoes. If you have any information about Tavon, please contact the Barnstable Police Department at 508-775-0387, extension 2, or email Detective Jackson at jackson@barnstablepolice.com. On Tuesday, the Yarmouth Fire Department had an action-packed afternoon, responding to back-to-back emergencies. At 4:50 p.m., a call came in for a capsized catamaran in Lewis Bay, where two individuals were reported to be in distress. Swift action by the department resulted in a successful rescue with no injuries reported. Minutes later, at 5:29, the department was called to a serious structure fire at a residence on Captain Stanley Road. Initial responders found a blaze that had begun in the garage and spread into the home, triggering a second alarm and drawing support from neighboring fire departments. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and no casualties have been reported at this time. Yarmouth Fire extends its thanks to all the crew on duty and the ones who came in off duty, as well as their mutual aid partners that came to assist. Dennis Public Library in Dennisport has recently unveiled its latest edition, brand new public computers. Open to all patrons, these state-of-the-art machines offer a range of services, including email, social media access, and internet searches, and job applications. Notably, no clamps card are required to utilize these computers. Furthermore, library offers black and white printing services at a nominal fee of 20 cents per page. The implementation of this technology was made possible through the collaboration between the Friends of the Dennis Public Library and the town's Information Systems Department, spearheaded by technical support specialist Andrew Duty. The Friends of the Dennis Library, a nonprofit organization of passionate library enthusiasts, play a pivotal role in raising funds for various programs, materials, and services offered at the Dennis Public Library. As advocates of the library's mission, they invite interested individuals to join their cause by becoming members or serving on the board. For more information, contact the library directly at 508-760-6219. The Barnstable County Sheriff's Office is celebrating the graduation of the BCSO Academy Class 2023-01. After 11 weeks of rigorous training, 11 new Barnstable officers will be joining the ranks of their fellow law enforcement professionals on Cape Cod. What sets this class apart is their participation in a mental health first aid class. Committed to holistic health, this initiative recognizes the occasionally downplayed importance of mental health concerns with law enforcement. We wish all the new officers the best of luck as they embark on their new careers. Food for Kids, part of the Massachusetts Summer Eats initiative, provides free meals to children and teens to counter summer hunger. This summer, in their 10th year, participating programs include Harwich Summer Recreation and Chatham Summer Recreation, offering meals to all children and teens under 18, regardless of their background and enrollment status. But the program goes beyond just nourishing bodies. It also feeds minds by distributing free children's books daily at every lunch site. These books, which promote diversity and inclusion, are awarded through a golden coupon system, and the child can take home and keep any new book they choose, promoting literacy and fostering a love of reading among children. In Harwich, snacks are available from 10 to 10:30 and lunch from 12 to 12:45, while in Chatham, snack time is from 10 to 10:30 and lunch is from 12 to 12:45. Walk-ins are always welcome. A 16-year-old juvenile has been arrested in connection with two separate shooting incidents that have rocked the town of Barnstable. On May 27th, shots were fired at Craigville Beach, leaving two individuals shaken and one victim with minor injuries. Then on June 25th, gunshots rang out at Main Street, leaving a male victim wounded in the legs. Thanks to the tireless efforts of law enforcement, crucial evidence, including surveillance footage, was recovered, revealing that both incidences were targeted attacks rather than random acts of violence. On Tuesday, authorities apprehended a 16-year-old suspect from Hyannis, who has been directly linked to both shootings. He faces charges of assault to murder with a firearm, assault and battery with a firearm, and accessory before and after the act. The Barnstable Police Department is working in collaboration with Cape Cod Police Departments, the Massachusetts State Police, and the Cape and Islands District Attorney's Office to locate and apprehend other individuals involved in these incidents. As the investigation unfolds, authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward and contact Detective Kyle Pellin at 508-778-3874 or via email at 293@barnstablepolice.com. Cape Cod has a packed schedule for the 4th of July celebrations, starting with Chatham fireworks at Veterans Park on July 2nd, with children's activities from 6 p.m. As for the main event, July 4th, we will see parades in Chatham, Barnstable, Cotuit, Hyannisport, and Centerville, starting at 9 a.m. In the afternoon, the Hyannis Harbor Boat Parade will commence from Hyannis Marina at 4:30 p.m., circling the Inner Harbor. The festivities continue into the evening with Hyannis Dancing in the Streets, an event from 5 to 7:30, concluding with a free concert by the Cape Symphony in Asselton Park. Last Saturday, a fire broke out at the Yarmouth Commons apartment, located at 881 Route 28. Although firefighters from Yarmouth swiftly responded to the scene, supported by mutual aid from Dennis, the fire has displaced numerous residents and has caused significant damage to the building.
The fire was limited just to the kitchen area in that one unit because of the sprinklers. It caught it quick. But when you're with that process, there's a tremendous amount of water, especially up on the third floor, that was released into the building. And so that causes damage to the building, potential damage to the building. It renders the building uninhabitable for a short period of time. So the building had to be shut down and secured, and it is not currently habitable until the Wingate company that is the property manager. They have a restoration firm, Restore 24, that is on board now, and they're conducting the restoration operations that they need to get those units back up to where they're habitable.
The incident occurred on the third floor of the apartment complex, originating in the kitchen. Thanks to the building's sprinkler system, the fire was quickly brought under control, minimizing the extent of the damage and preventing any injuries. Deputy Chief John Sawyer of the Yarmouth Fire Department commented the sprinkler system, stating that it potentially averted a tragic outcome. Despite the successful containment of the fire, the Yarmouth Building Department declared the entire building unsafe due to the resulting smoke, fire, and water damage. As a result, all 39 occupied units of the 40 were rendered uninhabitable, displacing approximately 125 residents.
The town has stepped up in a couple of ways. We've mobilized a emergency shelter at the Mattakees School because that we could get up quicker than we could do at the high school. It's just too much lead time for this type of an emergency. Opened the shelter last night. As of last night, we didn't have anyone that needed that shelter. We have the Red Cross, though, completely engaged, and through working with the Red Cross, the property owners, there's been people that have been housed at the Irish Village, new one in Hyannis, and there's people that have been issued some vouchers from the Red Cross. We have the shelter open, so we're also working to try to leverage, and Mary has been just unbelievable at this, as many resources that we can get working with the property owners as well as the funding agencies to clarify all of the responsibilities which appear to fall directly on the property management company to provide this relocation assistance, emergency shelter, and we're not going to stop until every one of those folks is accounted for. We hope it's going to be a speedy process, getting the building back up and running.
While the cause of the fire remains under investigation, the Yarmouth Fire Department's fire investigation team has preliminarily determined it to be accidental. Efforts are now underway to expedite the restoration process and safely return the displaced residents to their homes. Coming up after the break, the Route 28 Improvement Project. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Lauren Williamson. The town of Dennis is gearing up for significant improvements to the transportation infrastructure with the Route 28 Improvement Project. Recently, the Dennis Chamber of Commerce hosted a project information meeting. Cape Media News' Ryan Downs has more.
Last Monday, June 26th at 5 p.m. in the Bass River Marina showroom, the Dennis Chamber of Commerce hosted a project information meeting to discuss the ongoing Route 28 Improvement Project. The project overview and construction timeline were presented by the Town of Dennis Engineering Department in collaboration with the town's consultant, VHB, the same company that was involved in the Cape Cod Rail Trail Extension Bridge, and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, or MassDOT. Bass River Bridge replacement and Main Street's intersection improvement projects are set to begin construction in 2024. Both projects aim to minimize disruption by working during the off-season and preserving pedestrian access to business entry. The timeline includes winter 2024 for construction mobilization and completion in 2025. The Route 28 Improvement Project is expected to significantly enhance the transportation infrastructure in West Dennis, contributing to improved traffic flow as well as an increase to accessibility and safety. Many benefits also lie within the plan, such as upgraded drainage and utilities, added bus stops to Cape Cod RTA's routes, multi-purpose sidewalks, and on-road bike lanes. The meeting served as a platform for Dennis citizens to stay informed about the project's progress. With representatives from all parties included, it was made easy to address any questions or concerns from the community. For further details or inquiries, please contact the Dennis Chamber of Commerce or check out their website at dennischamber.com. For Cape Media News, I'm Ryan Downs.
While the sun was taking a break from shining this week, the Yarmouth Police Department was reaching out to the community with another Cookies with a Cop event at Love April Bakery. At the event, citizens could meet their law enforcement officers, pet a fantastic therapy dog named Finley, and purchase snacks and merch that support the YPD through the Yarmouth Police Foundation. Christian Garnett met with Bud Nugent, president of the Yarmouth Police Foundation, to discuss the purpose of the event.
Hi, I'm Bud Nugent. I'm president of the Yarmouth Police Foundation. We are here at Love April doing what we call a pop-up sale, where we bring a lot of the stuffed canines we have for sale, T-shirts, sweatshirts, tumblers, etc. And we sell those as one of the ways of raising funds to support the Yarmouth Police Department, as well as other departments on the Cape. For example, the recently completed Sergeant Sean Gannon Canine and Officer Training Facility, where many of the departments are bringing their officers for training. The foundation is a nonprofit organization. Our board members are all volunteers. All the money we raise goes to the purchase of equipment and items that the department needs that the town is either unable or unwilling to fund. So we've done things like a canine kennel so the dogs can be there instead of in the cars when officers have to go to court. We bought the canine intruder vest, which mounts a camera on top of the dog so that the officers can see what the dog sees when they're out in the woods or whatever. A simulator for tactical training encounters, and a number of other things. The pop-up today is at Love April, and we do these at several businesses. We were at Cape Gun Works, we're going to be at a YD Red Sox game, and so on. But the folks here at Love April have made some customized cookies with the dogs' pictures on the cookies. It's an opportunity for us to be out in the community with the police, and an opportunity for Love April to boost their business.
Red River Beach used to house a bench dedicated to Harwich's Jones family. But the bench went missing over the weekend in a case of false accusations and fake news. Here's Christian Garnett with more on this story.
On Sunday, June 25th, a Harwich local posted this on the Town of Harwich Facebook group.
More than one person lifted and transported a dedicated bench from Red River Beach. The dedication remains. This is a theft that makes no sense. Where is it now? Who is responsible? Who knows what? More than one someone knows. A truck had to be involved. The bench was donated by friends of our grieving family when we lost my middle son in 2014. It was a thoughtful gift as our families share many memories of being at Red River Beach. We could sit and be comforted by those memories. If anyone knows, please let the Harwich Police have your information. Thank you.
The now deleted post was quickly flooded with replies from other users who shared their condolences with the family and expressed outrage that someone would do something so senseless and hurtful. 16 hours later, Harwich PD hoped to dispel the anger and confusion by posting this to the same Facebook group.
Regarding the bench at Red River Beach, this was not stolen. The bench was removed for safety purposes by the DPW, as the bench was deteriorating. The plaque from the bench was removed and placed where the bench was.
Although this solved the mystery of the missing bench, it still left one question on the minds of the Red River visitors in the comments.
Will the bench be replaced?
Harwich PD simply replied,
Not a question for us.
So Cape Media News reached out to the Harwich DPW for answers, which the Director of Highways and Maintenance, Lincoln Hopper, was glad to answer. In his response, Director Hopper explained that the bench was originally donated to the town by friends of the grieving family, but over nearly a decade, the wooden bench was reaching the end of its usable life and had to be removed for safety reasons. The plaque dedicated to the family remains, but the town will not be replacing the bench because it was donated to the town originally. He went on to explain that a replacement bench could potentially be donated from town residents again, but it would have to be one of the town's standardized benches, and the process would have to go through the Harwich Recreation Commission. This routine DPW decision quickly turned into a case of fake news and accusations, which run rampant on Facebook and other social media platforms like it. So be careful out there, and know that you can always reach out to our town's offices on matters like this. We here at Cape Media News are committed to following hyper-local stories and delivering truthful content to our unique community. If you have a story that affects your family, please send a news tip to newstip@capemedia.org. I'm Christian Garnett, and this is Cape Media News.
Coming up after the break, we talk with MSPCA about pet adoptions on Cape. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Lauren Williamson. Next month, Cape Media News is bringing back the MSPCA Adorable Adoptable segment, originally produced before the pandemic lockdowns. In these monthly segments, we will be showing off some of the amazing pets at the Cape's MSPCA branch who are looking for forever homes. To emphasize the need for MSPCA services on the Cape, Cape Media News invited Colleen Evans to speak about the following adoption rates of dogs on Cape and nationwide. Here's Christian Garnett with more.
Hello, I'm Christian Garnett, and this is Cape Media News. Today, I am joined by Colleen Evans from MSPCA. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, Christian. How are you?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
I'm well, thanks.
I asked you to join me on this call to talk about the falling pet adoption rates here on Cape Cod and nationally. Could you tell me anything about that?
Yeah, so I would say it's primarily for dogs. We're seeing a huge decrease in adoption rates. And in turn, there is a larger number of euthanasia rates across the nation as well. Many shelters are overwhelmed and overrun with dogs and don't have any areas for them. So it's been a really big challenge. We are also seeing cat numbers increasing again. There was a lull post-COVID. I think a lot of that had to do with cats were breeding outside, but people weren't interacting and going outside and finding those kittens and bringing them into shelters. That's just something that I noticed when I was in New York City during the pandemic, working in a shelter there. We just saw less people out, less people bringing us cats. So those rates are increasing more. But especially for dogs, it's just an unprecedented number of them. And shelter space is really limited. Foster-based rescues are overwhelmed. So it's been challenging.
And what is the perceived reason? Why are the dog adoption rates falling?
I think there's a lot of different theories as to why, but I don't know if it'll ever be super clear what the number one reason is. I think there are a few things and factors that come into play. Housing, the cost of living is so high and housing is really hard to come by, especially, we see that in Cape Cod specifically. It's the housing market's crazy and rental properties are hard to come by or hard to afford, and most of them are not pet friendly. So I'd say housing is a huge problem across the nation. Cost of living and inflation is also really hard. It's hard for people to go to the grocery store and feed themselves based on their salaries. And so adding in another animal into that is also really challenging. And then a lot of people did adopt during COVID. So those homes kind of filled up potentially. And so I think there's just, it's just been hard to know exactly why there's been this big drop off. But I think those are potentially some theories that have been gone around as to why.
That makes a lot of sense. If you can't afford somewhere to live, you definitely, not only can you not afford to adopt a pet, but you have nowhere to put them. So that makes sense. I never really thought about that. The housing crisis is directly affecting pet adoption.
Yeah, it's incredibly profound. It's very, very challenging for, the families that can't find housing, it's really hard. And then a lot of these families would be wonderful pet owners. It would be great for them to be connected with an animal, but they just simply can't because they can't afford the housing. And then, or they're being moved out of their homes because the person is selling their space. The place that they're moving is not pet friendly, and then they're having to surrender to the shelter. So I think there's a lot to play there with that, with the housing crisis.
You mentioned COVID pet adoptions earlier, and that's also something that I've been curious about. What did you notice about pet adoptions during the COVID shutdowns?
Yeah, we saw a huge number of people looking to adopt during COVID. People were looking to fill that void of not being able to interact with other humans. And so adopting a pet was a big thing for a lot of people. People also had a lot more time than they previously had when they were going to the office 5+ days a week. And so they were able to introduce animals into their lifestyles. Especially for cats, we still see a huge number of people looking for cats, especially in Massachusetts, which is the highest cat owning state. So
really?
We can't keep cats here because they get adopted so quickly. So we do a lot of relocation where we bring cats in from other parts of the country and adopt them out because we have such a high demand for cats. So in the pandemic, it was even higher, and it was every cat that we would get would be gone really quickly, even if they were a senior or had medical challenges or were a little bit on the funkier side personality wise. And so that definitely was significant, especially for cats and for dogs. I wouldn't say small animals like guinea pigs and rabbits. We saw a huge change, but we definitely saw that both here. And then again, when I was in New York City, we saw that as well. Lots of people looking to adopt.
So you're saying this problem is mostly affecting dog adoptions, not really cat adoptions?
Not here, at least not on the Cape from what I have seen. There is also the Animal Rescue League in Brewster, so I'm not sure if their perception is the same as ours. But yeah, cats, we really have been able to move them through very quickly. It's just dogs that have been staying for a bit longer. And again, Massachusetts is a very cat-loving state, so I think we have a lot more homes looking for cats, but there are plenty of other places across the U.S. that are overrun with cats as well.
Colleen, thank you so much for joining us on this interview.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm Christian Garnett, and this is Cape Media News.
Thank you for joining us this evening. If you have a story you'd like to see covered, send us an email at newstip@capemedia.org. Tune in next week for more hyperlocal news that matters on Channel 99, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. For Cape Media News, I'm Lauren Williamson.